Good morning. Welcome to Caffeinate Your Career. Today's topic is all about goal setting. I am your host, the career coach with the most, Jason Hopper. With me today is our super cool Senior Director of Career and Financial Services, Miss Allison Harding.
Hi, everyone.
Allison, welcome to Caffeinate Your Career. It looks like...
He's trying to figure out
Are we live?
if we're live.
I think so.
Yay. I hope so.
Yep, we are in fact live. All right. Let me turn that down. Okay.
I hear us talking.
Technical difficulties. Okay, we are live. So, Allison, goal setting.
Yeah. So why do we set goals, Jason?
That's a great question, Allison. We've practiced this. We set goals.
It's the only thing we practice.
It is
ever.
It's the only. The rest of this broadcast is all downhill from here, boy. We set goals so that we can focus on things that are important to us, so that we can have a more clear vision of what we want out of life.
Okay. So besides career goals, what else would you set goals for, possibly?
Eating better, working out more,
savings for your future.
Really pretty much anything and everything that you want that is going to be important to you. Including like coaching.
Exactly.
Right? I will have clients sometimes tell me, "Oh my gosh, I was just so busy. I didn't have time."
Really?
That's not true. It's not that you didn't have time. It just wasn't important enough for you to make time to do it. Goals.
Hence, that's why you set a goal. We make a lot of excuses why we don't do things. Like, I know I have to clean out my closets at home. I brought this up before, I think. I have to do it. They're a mess. They're awful. I actually have set a goal, but the goal gives me enough time that I can achieve it. So each week I do a little bit.
It's a long-term goal.
It's a long-term goal.
Right.
It's like 4 to 6 months. But I know I have to do it. And now that I have this goal, and I also told my husband, so it's real now. If I had just kept it in my head and said, I have this goal of cleaning out the closets at home, it'd be like, if I do it, great. If I don't do it, it's okay too. But since I told Steve, now it's like, okay, are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? When are we going to do this?
So let's talk about, there's like 3 different types of goals. There's process goals, performance goals, and then outcome goals. So let's break that down. What is a process type of goal?
So we're going to read these because there are definitions.
Yes.
Process goals are specific actions or process of performing. For example, aiming to study for 2 hours after dinner every day. So if you're in school, or if you're taking an assessment at work or for your job, or there's something that you want to achieve that you have to study, you have to set that process in line every day or every week or whatever it is, so that you can achieve that. So like I'm starting a language class, and I know it's going to be really hard for me because I'm just not good at that. And so I know I will have to put processes in order. My husband's taking a language class, and he's got, on Mondays he studies, on Wednesdays he studies, and on Thursday is his class, and it's a 2-hour class. And so he knows his process to be able to achieve being able to understand more.
What language are you learning?
So I've signed up for 2 this summer. One is sign language, which I took in college, and the other one is Spanish, which I took in high school and was awful at. So,
okay.
Anyways, those are my 2. And Steve is doing, I forgot. It's has to do with yoga.
Okay. The language of yoga?
No, it's I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to have to talk to Steve later because I'm not just curious. Okay. So you have to build in the process to get to the next bit, because the next goal is your performance goal.
Exactly.
And your performance goals are the personal standard that you're going to hold yourself to achieve the goal. Now, like it's me. It's like I have made it a priority to make sure that I get all my steps in, right? And I walk anywhere from 5 to 7 miles a day. But
He really does do that.
I do, but I have to build in the process to do it. And when things get thrown off on it, I have to work hard now to catch up with it. So, for example, if when I go home, I make dinner, talk to the family, out the door I go to the gym. And then sometimes though, because I walk the track and get my steps in. But like sometimes though, you have to do the trade off, because yesterday our son Tony wanted to go to the gym with me so that we could lift weights together and hang out and then go and walk. So I did get I didn't get quite 5, but I did like 4 miles yesterday. But the trade-off was I got to spend time with my kid, but I have that process.
And you still worked out. It's not like you were sitting in front of the TV
right.
watching cartoons.
Yeah, I wasn't just hanging out. Put in, the process has to change, which is the other part of that is when you set the goal, you do have to work on achieving it, but also too, you have to make sure that you give yourself some grace as things pop up, and that you're not really hard on yourself, because the harder you are on yourself, the more down you feel, and then you don't feel like actually doing the goal.
Right. And so when in career search, you set a goal, I'm going to apply to 5 jobs today. You have to look at that goal and say, is this realistic? Are there going to be 5 jobs I want to apply for that I would want? Am I going to spend that much time in front of a computer to find those jobs? So the goals have to be realistic, and they also should be a little bit flexible. For like Jason, he just said, my performance goal is to walk 5 to 7 miles a day.
Yep.
It's not, I'm going to walk 7 miles a day. And if you don't reach it, then it's like, oh man, I didn't meet my goal. I feel so bad. So he gave himself some leeway. Adding to that leeway was what's more important, reaching that goal or spending time with Tony, and still working out, doing weights and doing things, and then walking with your son. And so those are things that you can do for yourself. I'm going to apply for 2 to 4 jobs a day, or I am going to look for those jobs that I want and can achieve in the morning and in the evening or late afternoon, so that I can apply for those jobs. So you've given yourself a process when you're going to do it, and then you've given yourself a performance goal, 2 to 4.
And then the last bit is outcome goals, which is based on winning.
So the winning is not only achieving that goal. For us, we're talking about careers and looking for jobs. It's not only reaching that goal, but it also has to do with being able to get the interview, talk to somebody, network with people at the company, at the organization who might be able to be your cheerleaders and be able to get you in there.
Yep.
It's being able to get a job offer. There's additional goals. Those are the outcomes that come with performance and process.
And the winning, I every time I get a new client, I always ask one of the same questions, which is, what has been your job search process up until this moment where we're having this meeting? And 9 out of 10 times, well, I'm just applying to jobs online.
Right.
I'm like, that's not even
not
effective. We need to figure out a different process.
An additional process.
And also too, like when I have new clients, I email them a career coach baseline form so that they can bring back to me what their goals are and what they want to achieve with me in coaching. And that's what we then work towards as we're moving through the process and creating the process.
And Jason's doing those things because there's a lot of people that don't understand what their goals are. I need a job. Well, do you just need a job, or do you need a job that you're going to like? Do you need a job where there's promotability or more money or money at all? what are you really looking for? And so there's more to it for you. We don't expect you to know without having a coach or somebody walk the line with you, because it's not your job. It's our job to be able to help you focus on those goals and to achieve them.
And if you need help with focusing on your goals and in your career search, you can give us a call at 972-437-9950, extension 379. Leave a message and somebody will call you back in 24 hours to start that process.
And there's our commercial for the day.
And you know what? But that's a good point, because I have clients, they show up and they're like, I need a job. And I'm like, okay, well, I can teach you how to go get a job. Do you want a job or do you want a career? Because the two things are totally different. And I don't know what your needs are. Is it an immediate, I need cash flow right now, or I need help finding what I'm going to do, or what my career is going to be.
Right.
Right.
Everybody's needs are different, and nobody's is right or wrong. And if you just need a job to pay your bills, we completely understand and can help you, focus on that and get that. That doesn't mean you stop looking for a career once you have that job, because it might not be exactly what you want to be doing for the rest of your life. So having that job is important because you can pay your bills, you can support your family, you have a house, you have food, you have insurance, you have a car. But if it's not what you want to do for a long period of time and something you love, we will continue to help you work on that additional goal to be able to find that job,
Correct.
that career.
So now we kind of identified like the types of goals we have, like how we're going to build the goal, right?
So there's a process for that also.
Yes,
this whole thing is processes, to be honest with you. And I don't set a lot of goals for myself. I'll be honest with you. I set them and then I don't achieve them, and then I get angry at myself. So it's like, I want to do this, but now understanding a process, I do more. Where before I was just saying, oh, I want to lose 15 pounds. Out of my mouth, out of my head, forget it. There's a cupcake, I'm going to eat it. So now when I do things like that, I actually put the process down and figure out how to build it. So one, you have to decide and think of something you want to do or work towards. What is that goal that you want? So perhaps your son wants to physically be stronger because he wants to play a sport in the future, or he wants to do something. So he started on that goal, and he's decided he needs to go to the gym with you a couple times a week. That changes your schedule a little bit, but it doesn't alleviate that you're still doing healthy things.
Right. Well, I think it's important that once we have decided on what the goal is, to write it down.
Absolutely.
Because if we don't write it down, like you just said, it's a dream and not a reality.
So if something stays in your head, I want to do better job search, career search. If it stays in your head, it's a dream. If you write it down, it's reality. When people come in here and do financial coaching, they say, oh, I know what my budget is. I have it in my head. It's a dream. If you write that budget down, it's like, oh, I forgot. I spend on this and I do this and it's reality. And reality is really important for your goals.
I've been watching the TV show Suits, which is about lawyers.
My favorite show.
And
it's not out anymore. It's on, I don't know what
it's on Netflix, and it's on Paramount. It's the number one streaming show right now.
That's so good.
And the main character in the show, his name is Harvey Specter, and his quote is, I don't have dreams, I have goals. Write it down.
I don't have dreams.
I have goals. Dreams aren't going to get you anywhere. The other thing is important to do to help build out the goal is to make sure that you are telling somebody about it. That makes it real, and you have an accountability partner in the process, right? We have our clients. They come in, usually at the end of the session, they have homework and things that they need to do and work on before they come back to see us. Right? And they are accountable to us, because if they don't come back, and they come back and they're like, I just didn't do anything. I'm like, there's the door.
We don't say that, but we do ask why.
Right. Well, right. I mean, because everybody, I did have a client, and this is like when we were in quarantine and we were all working from home. And I'm like, he got on the call and he's like, I didn't do anything. And I'm like, oh, well, is there a reason? Like, what happened? Why didn't you? He goes, well, my daughter had COVID and we had to go to the hospital. I'm like, you get a pass. Like, that's kind of a serious thing. I can understand why you did not complete the assignment because your daughter was in the hospital and about to die. No problem.
There are reasons, but again, when you tell someone you're going to do something like cleaning the closets at home, I told Steve, I am now accountable because he's going to ask me, what'd you do this week? What'd you clean out? What'd you get rid of? So that he is my accountability partner.
So the chat has got blown up. Good morning, Chandra. Allison Bishop asked for the number. That phone number again is 972-437-9950, extension 379.
So that you know that 379 extension is just for career and financial coaching. So it doesn't go anywhere else. And then we pick up those lines every day. You'll hear back from us. You'll hear back from us within 24 hours.
And Vitaly said that he needs a job and he needs a career. He needs something to keep working on a career. Vitaly, call that number. We'll help you out, buddy. Okay. I think also too, it's good to break down the goal, especially if the goal is like if it's a big goal, because it's just like you in the closet. You're not going. You already know you're not going to go and just spend the day cleaning out your closet. Yeah. So you have to break it down into smaller increments and taking things out or what you can do to, I guess, shift stuff around or
exactly.
Where you're going to put.
So we've taken rooms. We're going to do this room. We're going to get rid of all the stuff we don't need. And we're going to do this room and get rid of all the stuff we don't need. And so it takes a while, but we did break it down. You're absolutely right. Same with job search. When you're in your job search, you have to break down why it is working and why it isn't working. So as an example, how's my resume? Does it resonate exactly what the employers are looking for so that they would want to hire me? And if not, what do I have to do? If you don't know, ask someone. A professional someone.
Good. That's right. Don't ask anybody. There are plenty of people out there to tell you what you should be doing in your job search.
Best friend, your neighbor, your relatives. But the other thing is, if you are getting the interviews, but you're not getting job offers, there's something that you can improve on the interview.
Right. And we do have a practice interview program. The next one's going to be on the 27th, Tuesday. I've got 1 o'clock spots and 2 o'clock spots still available. If you're interested in working on practicing your interviewing skills, I have a whole team of people that are ready to help you out. Just send me an email. My email is J, Hopper, HOPPER, @jfsdallas.org, and put practice interview in the subject line and what time you want to do it, and I will get you hooked up with one of the members of our team to do a practice interview. They are virtual, so you don't have to be local to participate. But let me know, and we'll help you out.
And they're good. All the volunteers who are doing this are professionals, and so they've been hiring people for a long time. So now we're breaking down your process so that your performance will improve. We're looking at the resume. We're looking at your interviewing. We're going to look at your job search. We're going to talk about the way you dress, the people, your networking, your online presence, your everything. We're going to break all those things down to help you improve the way you do it. And then from there, we have to look at what's going to be your very first step.
First step? That's right. Because, you've got to figure that piece out to get to the next part to where you're going to try to go.
The first step's the hardest.
The first step is always the hardest because, it's one of the reasons why it's the new year and everybody has New Year's resolutions, and all your New Year's resolutions fail because it takes how many days to form a new habit?
60, 90, 30?
62.
62.
62 days to form a new habit. That's like over a month. That's a month. That's 2 months. That's well, it depends on the month.
No, it's 2 months.
Well, there's an extra day this February.
It's still a month.
It's 29 days. Actually, February is next week. Okay.
And sometimes you're going to fail at it for a day or for a couple of days. Keep going. All right. Last weekend we didn't clean out anything because we were in the go all weekend. We were doing different things. That doesn't mean we're going to stop doing cleaning out the closets. It just means we weren't able to achieve our goal for last weekend.
And that's going to happen. I mean, life happens. Things are going to happen.
Life happens.
But then the other part of it too, when you build your goals, make sure that you celebrate once you have your goal. Is you get to check it off of the list because that's done, and you go on to the next thing.
Yeah, and I make lists.
I think it's great to make lists. I think it's important to make lists because it keeps you on track. I think it should be a major part of. I mean, we just talked about writing the goal down to make it real.
Right.
And once you get to that part of it, you cross it off or check it off or however you
and
do it.
Go on to the next thing.
Right.
You know, that's really important. So I'm just going to review these for 1 second. How do you build your goals? And they're your goals, not mine. Okay, that's what coaching is. We let you decide how you want to proceed. So it's decide what the goal is, write it down, tell someone, break your goal down so that you have little pieces, plan your first step, keep going because sometimes you're not going to achieve things, and then celebrate your wins. That doesn't mean you have to just wait to get a job to celebrate. That means when you get an interview, when you get someone who responds positively towards your resume, those are positive achievements. Celebrate them.
Yeah, and I think it's important to celebrate the wins, even the small wins. You know, I said before, like you know, you get down to the end of the interview process and you didn't get the job, but that's still a win because you know a lot of people didn't get called. You did. You got all the way to the end of the process, and it sucks that you didn't get the job. And I'm sorry, but that's still a win.
Listen, we have a lot of people come in and say, I was one of 2 final candidates and I didn't get the call. It's a win. You were one of 2. There were 500 applicants. Trust me, they narrowed it down to 10. You came down to the final 2. It's a win. Somebody just had a different skill set or a little something that said, you know what, I think this person might be better for this.
They just said they just said something in a different way that resonated with the hiring manager. And that's really what it comes down to.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
So there are 3 steps to creating your goals.
Envision it forward.
Envision it forward. So why are you creating this goal? What is it for? Make it clear and succinct. I want to lose weight. Not a goal. I want to lose 10 pounds by April 30th. That's a goal. It's clear, succinct, measurable. I know what I can do. I can break it down more, all those types of things.
So write it down and then put the steps into place. You want to aim it forward.
What's that mean?
It means to set up the times to do the actual goal, whether it's trying to or attempting to connect to 5 people at 5 target companies, or if you want to lose weight, it's not rocket science. You eat healthy and you work out. It's that simple, but you have to commit to doing it instead of just eating things that are not healthy. Right.
And so with Jason, let's talk about his walking. He would never say, I'm going to do it at 5 o'clock in the morning before I go to work. It's just not who he is. And he knows that. So for him to put that down on paper, I'm going to walk at 5 in the morning, doesn't even make sense. When he knows after he comes home from work, spends time with the family, eats dinner, he can go and do it. So it's timing too. It's when you know you can be successful.
Yeah, and also too, like I decided at the end of this last year that I'm going to make a concerted effort to eat a lot healthier. I mean, I'm pescatarian, so I only eat seafood, but oftentimes it'll be fried seafood, and that's not healthy. That's not healthy. But so I've been trying to do like bake more, but also too instead of like bringing a bag of chips for snack every day, I eat mixed nuts.
That's very healthy for you.
Making sure that I'm eating more vegetables, especially green leafy vegetables.
He doesn't eat a lot of vegetables.
And I have been lately. So again, it's I've decided this is what I would. But at the same time, even though that is the goal, and it should be something I am doing daily, like last week I went to Flying Fish, and instead of getting like the baked salmon, I was like, I really want that fried catfish, and I got it. And
he did eat every piece of it.
And it was good, and I was happy because
But that doesn't mean you still don't have that same goal. If you did that every week, we'd probably say, Jason.
Well, it's not really.
But it's not every week. He does it once a month, or he does it once every whatever. It's okay to break those rules sometimes, as long as you know you can get back into the procedure, the process of doing it the right way.
And that's the third step, is to live it forward. You have to be continuing to do it. Like once you commit to it, you be committed to it and keep doing what it is. So last week I went to Flying Fish and got some fried catfish, and it was delicious, and I was very happy. But the next day,
you had a salad or whatever.
I did like Saturday. For lunch, I had leftover salad, so I ate the salad, and I also ate some vegetable soup. And so I had that was all of lunch was soup, vegetable soup, and a salad. So I try to balance it out, right?
So just because you break your goal, you get off of it, like eating fried food once, doesn't mean that you say, oh, scratch it, forget it, I can't do this. It just means that you refocus. That's all.
Yeah.
And you live it forward. You start from where you left off.
Oh, so we're getting close to time, but I do want to talk about SMART goals. So that's an acronym, and SMART stands for specific, measurable, obtainable, relevant, and time-bound goals. This is something that we work with clients on, and getting making SMART goals to make sure that they are going to be able to achieve the goal. Because when you don't achieve the goal, you start to feel kind of bad,
right?
That you didn't do it, and that's not really the whole point of goals. I think when you work on setting goals, they should be positive,
right? And
moving towards a positive area instead of falling off and not being able to do it. And it's one of the other reasons why it's important to tell somebody, so that you have somebody in your corner, you have a cheerleader that's going to help you out with, keeping you on track, celebrating with you, those kinds of things, right?
So SMART goals were created so that people would have a way to measure themselves, and so that other people would be able to help measure with them. And so the goal is broken up into 5 areas, which SMART, Jason just stated. So to start with, be specific with your goals. And I'm going to give you an example of how a workaround to that. Your goal is to have a career by August 1st. I'm just throwing these things out. In the meantime, you still have to pay your bills. And so you might go and get a job so that you have income coming in and money coming in, but you're still looking for that end goal, that specific goal that you want to achieve, that career goal. That doesn't mean that job is going to be your career, and you never know. It might turn out to be something much better than you had anticipated, and it could be something that you like and is promotable or trainable or whatever. But it doesn't, if your goal is August 1st, but you need income, you need to do something in the meantime. You've set a specific goal, but you've also added to it.
Right, and then that's the other part, is you want to make sure that you're going to be able to achieve the goal.
Right.
It can't be like if you're going to pivot in your career and you all of a sudden want to do cybersecurity, but you have no experience in it, it's like, okay, the goal is over here. But to get to the goal, you have to put in, like, you're not just going to become a cybersecurity specialist. You have to go and probably go back and get a certification, and then work on getting into talking to other cybersecurity specialists and figure out how they got to there.
So the end goal is
being a cybersecurity specialist.
To get there, you have to take baby steps. That first step is studying it and realizing and figuring out what you need to do to get to that end goal. Then maybe going back to school and getting either certified or a degree or whatever it takes. Network so that you can get in somewhere. Jason is our expert in
LinkedIn,
and LinkedIn is the best way to hook up to things, companies and people, and then continue on that final goal, that specific goal of achieving being able to work for a company doing cybersecurity.
Yeah,
but there are baby steps.
Right, and so one of the things I learned in processes is you start from the back end of when you want for things to happen, and then you work the steps backwards so that you're going to be able to achieve it on that specific day. And that is something that is important in setting the goal so that you have an end date and how you're going to get there.
Exactly. And your goals are important. So by looking at that specific goal, it has to be measurable. You have to put dates on things. I'm going to be in class by mid-March. I am going to improve my profile by this date. I'm going to do more networking, coming to JFS to our events by this date. They're all steps to get to that final goal that you've set for yourself.
Our next in-person networking event is going to be on the 22nd at 3 o'clock. We've got our career services manager, Phil Kanicki, doing a presentation on salary and job negotiation.
And that's an important one because everybody's worried about leaving $1 on the table. Doesn't matter sometimes, most of the time. You'll achieve it.
Yeah,
it's working through all those things.
Yeah, Phil will go over all of that, but I've seen him do this presentation, and it's definitely, if you're on the job search, you need to be in my office next Thursday at 3. Also, we're getting close to time, and so our last question is always the fun question. And I was last night. I got up in the middle of the night. And the cat just jumped up out of nowhere and scared me. And so I started thinking about cats. Would you rather be able to see in the dark or have 9 lives?
So I think I'd rather. I really don't have a preference. Neither of those are my goals.
But, see what you did there?
But I think I would like to be able to see in the dark. I don't know how healthy those 9 lives would be.
Yeah.
And so I'd like it to be more specific. So being able to see in the dark, I think, is better for me.
I think so too. I think if I had like 9 lives, I would just be like crazy and reckless.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, I got like 8 more lives. It's, you know.
Yeah, I'm okay. So I've got a question for you.
Yes.
On a Saturday when you're not working, what's your favorite thing to do?
Nap.
Really? Wow, I wasn't expecting
I have
that.
a championship now. If we don't have plans, I'm gonna take a nap. I mean, I will tell you how Saturday goes. I get up and we feed the dogs, and then I get breakfast, and then depending on when it is or what time it is, I'm gonna go back to bed for now an hour and a half to 2 hours, and then I get up. So when we talk about 5 to 7 miles, it's the weekend where I pick up the 7. I will go out. I will get up, and I would get up, usually eat because it's close to lunchtime now, and then I will go walk for about 2.5 to 3 hours.
You sort of have to because you've been
Because
sleeping
I've been
for so
sleeping.
long.
It's how the day goes, man.
That's wild.
What do you do?
I go to the gym at 7:30, and there's a bunch of us, and we either swim or work out in the gym, and then we all have a brunch together.
Oh, that's nice.
From about 10:30 to noon, and then I go home, and I usually bake and cook. I love cooking. I love it, and so I'll find new recipes. And when I do it, I try to do it so that there are leftovers, so that we can have lunch the next day, or something like that. Or even if we're going to a basketball game, because we're avid basketball Mavericks fans. I'll make things that we can eat the next night, but it'll be ready and we don't have to worry about it.
You always come in with the best leftovers.
Thank
Really
you.
Good.
So this weekend, my husband had to have some surgery on his mouth. So I made banana bread, but I love banana bread with nuts. He can't have anything hard. Everything has to be soft. So I made a batch with no nuts and a batch with nuts. And then I made a big pot of vegetable soup so he can eat.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. Next week, there won't be a live stream next week.
Sorry, folks.
Yes, Allison is out of town, and I'm also out of town.
We're both out of town next week.
But not in the same place.
No.
But the following week, on the 27th, you know what our topic's going to be?
I do not. What is it?
Interview preparation.
What's that mean?
Well, you got to be prepared to interview.
Gotcha.
You know what you have to do?
What?
You have to come up with a process and a goal.
Bingo. See how all these things feed into each other?
We will see you on the 27th, and come in next week on the 22nd to see Phil talk about salary and job negotiation.
And remember, if you need help with interviewing, we've got mock interviews every other Tuesday.
Yeah, let me know. All right, we'll see you then. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.